My name is Riley. I'm 17, and until 8 weeks ago, the scariest thing that had ever happened to me was failing my driver's test twice in front of the same instructor. I want you to understand that, because everything I'm about to tell you happened to a completely ordinary person. I do my homework early. I text my mom when I get to school. I'd never had a real fight with anyone before this started. I thought the first envelope was a joke. Our lockers rattle so much that anyone could slide something through the vents. So when I found a plain white envelope wedged between my textbook and a pair of muddy sneakers that Friday, I actually laughed. Inside was an old photograph of our school courtyard. Cars in the background I didn't recognize. Underneath it, a boy died here 15 years ago. No one ever told you the truth. I will. One clue every Friday, if you're ready to hear it. I stopped laughing. I found an old yearbook that weekend. A memorial page, 15 years back. A boy named Ethan Cole, 16 years old, in loving memory of our classmate. I'd never heard his name before, not once. My mom went to the same school. She'd never mentioned him either. The next Friday, second envelope, a newspaper clipping. Student found unresponsive in gymnasium. Cause of death ruled cardiac arrest. Case closed. Underneath, his heart was fine. Ask who locked the gym that night. I asked around. Careful questions dropped into normal conversation. 3 teachers, 3 identical reactions. A pause, a subject change, a sudden interest in something else entirely. That's not a coincidence. That's a script. The Friday after that, I opened my locker and there was nothing. No envelope. I checked twice. I told myself maybe it was over, and I remember feeling something I didn't expect. Not relief. Disappointment. I needed to know now. Then I got home and it was on my bed, centered on the pillow. My door had been locked all day. My mom never left the house. Inside, a torn page from a gym log, one date ripped out. Under it, different handwriting. Someone tore this page out. It wasn't me, but I know who was in that gym that night. A phone number. First time. I typed, "Who are you?" 3 dots. Then 11 minutes of nothing. Then, someone who's been waiting a long time for someone to ask the right questions. "You're close. Keep going." I asked how I could know he wasn't lying. "You don't. All I can do is show you what I have." Coach Bennett ran the gym that year. He still works at our school. He signs off on my study hall passes. I asked him, casually, if he remembered a student named Ethan. He went very still. Then he smiled and said, "Long time ago. Sad story. Wasn't my year for locking up, though." And he walked off before I could ask anything else. I spent the whole next week trying to find something, anything, and I found nothing. I started to think I'd built an entire conspiracy out of a coincidence and a stranger's cruel prank. I told Haley I was starting to feel stupid. She said, "Then why can't you stop checking your locker every morning before you even take your coat off?" I didn't have an answer for that. Haley helped me find the sister of one of Ethan's old classmates. She agreed to message once. She wrote, "Ethan told me a week before he died that he was scared to be alone in the building. Said someone threatened him. He told me, if anything happens to me, check locker 114. Locker 114. My locker." I sat down on the hallway floor because my legs stopped working right. That's when I found the piece I wasn't expecting. It wasn't in an envelope. I found it myself, in a box of old district records that Haley's mom, who works in the front office, let us dig through for a history project that didn't exist. Every incident report from that year had 2 signatures, a witness statement and a final sign-off confirming the cause. The cardiac arrest ruling on Ethan's file had 1 signature on the final line: D. Bennett, staff on duty. He hadn't just been working that night. He was the one who signed the paper that closed the case. The one line that turned unexplained into accident and sent everyone home believing it. 15 years of nobody asking another question, because somebody in a position everyone trusted had already put his name under the word natural. That didn't prove he'd done anything to Ethan. It proved he'd made sure nobody would ever have to ask if he had. I didn't tell Coach Bennett what I'd found. I didn't tell anyone except Haley. But something in how I looked at him after that must have shown, because that Friday there was no note in my locker. Just a photograph. Printed, still smelling like fresh ink. It was me, from behind, at my own locker, taken the day before. In the little mirror I keep taped inside the door, you could see someone at the end of the hallway, watching. I turned around. Nobody there. I didn't go home that night. The next message came at 2 a.m., straight to my phone. You asked who I am. I'm the person who's been trying to say Ethan's name out loud for 15 years and getting told to let it go. That photo wasn't from me. Someone else had taken that picture then. Someone with access to a school hallway, to my locked bedroom, to places I was supposed to be safe. I went looking through the old yearbook again that weekend, slower this time, page by page instead of skimming for a name. And in the back, in a section of candid shots nobody bothers labeling properly, I found a photo I'd missed completely the first time. Ethan, maybe 2 years before he died, standing outside the gym in shorts and a team shirt. And next to him, one arm slung easy across his shoulders, a younger Coach Bennett. No caption, no names, just the two of them, squinting into the sun, both of them smiling like it was an ordinary afternoon. I stared at that photo for a long time, trying to decide what I was looking at. A coach with a favorite player, a family friend, somebody's cousin visiting from out of town, or something closer than any of those. Something the missing caption seemed almost deliberately designed to keep me from guessing. I asked Haley what she thought. She looked at it for a full minute before she said, "That's not how you stand next to somebody you just coach." I didn't have an answer for that either. Coach Bennett was waiting by the gym doors the next morning. Not near his office, not on his usual side of the building, right where I'd have to pass him. "Rough night," he said, still smiling, still warm. "You look like you didn't get much sleep." I told him I was fine. "Must be all that studying," he said. "Late nights at Haley's, catching up on schoolwork, that's dedication." I hadn't told him I'd stayed at Haley's. I hadn't told anyone at that school anything. He held my eyes for exactly 1 second too long, still smiling the entire time, and then said, "Anyway, have a good one," and walked off like nothing had happened at all. I stood there feeling like I'd just been shown a hand of cards without a single one turned face up. The messages kept coming after that. Careful, patient, always just useful enough to keep me moving forward, always just vague enough that I couldn't tell if I was being guided toward the truth or steered exactly where someone wanted me standing. I asked him outright, finally, "Are you trying to help me? Or are you using me to do something you can't do yourself?" It took him 2 full days to answer. "Both," he wrote. "I won't pretend it's only one. I need this to end as much as you're starting to want it to." That was the first honest thing either of them had told me. It didn't make me trust him. It just made me realize I hadn't this whole time. This morning there was a new envelope. He swore he didn't send it. Inside, no photo, no note, just a key. Small, brass, old, worn smooth like it's been handled for years. Taped to it. In handwriting I had never seen in any message from either of them. "Time's almost up." I turned the key over and noticed something I'd missed at first glance. 3 faint numbers scratched into the underside, half worn away. A locker number. Not mine. 1 row down, 1 column over. I haven't opened it yet. I keep thinking about that photo from the yearbook, Ethan's arm and Coach Bennett's arm. Two people standing closer than a coach stands to a player he barely knows. I keep thinking about a signature on a form that ended an investigation nobody ever got to finish. And I keep thinking about the fact that somewhere in this building right now, there's a locker that's been sitting closed for 15 years. Somebody just handed me the key to it. I still don't know if that somebody is trying to save me, or just needs someone else standing there when it finally opens.